Before you start panicking about the King's speech, the biggest risk is not just the proposals themselves. The bigger risk is confusing a political announcement with a legal change, then delaying your application, preparing the wrong evidence, and assuming your ILR route is safe when it may still depend on the final rules. So, proposals in the King's speech may affect spouse visas, ILR, and family visa appeals in the UK. New proposals could mean tougher English tests, longer waits for settlement, and stricter rules. But political divisions inside the Labour Party could change what actually happens next. Hi, I'm James from Together Against Solutions. The UK government is preparing major immigration changes. And if you're on a spouse visa, or you're planning to apply, or you're waiting for ILR, this could directly affect you. The King's speech has now confirmed that immigration reform remains a priority, but there is still a lot of confusion about what is actually changing now and what is only a proposal. So in this video, I'm going to quickly explain what the King's speech said about immigration, what could happen to spouse visas, and why political divisions inside Labour may decide how harsh these changes become. And, importantly, I'll explain who may not be affected, because right now, a lot of people are panicking unnecessarily. Now, let's talk about what the King's speech actually said. The government, basically, in the King's speech, confirmed its intention to introduce an immigration bill. One of the biggest immigration points inside the speech was the government's intention to introduce legislation connected to the Home Secretary's immigration proposals. And the government also discussed limiting how Article 8 human rights arguments are used in immigration cases. Article 8 basically relates to the right to private and family life. In practical terms, if this change became law, this could narrow one possible appeal route for some refused spouse visa applicants, especially in cases that rely heavily on broader family life arguments. This is a legally complex area, and we do not have the final wording of the legislation. At the moment, it's just an intention for the government to introduce this as part of their laws. So it's important not to jump to conclusions too early. So here is the key takeaway. The direction of UK spouse visa and ILR policy is still evolving. Some proposals sound strict, but not everything that's announced becomes law exactly as originally proposed. And, like I said, political pressure inside the government and the Labour Party can still change how these policies are applied. So if you are already on a spouse visa, or you're preparing a spouse visa application, or you're here and you're planning for ILR, this is the time to stay informed and prepare carefully rather than panic, because the details, especially possible transitional protections for existing visa holders, may end up being extremely important. So the safest position right now is not panic and not complacency. It is basically to know which rules apply today, keep your spouse visa and relationship evidence organized, and watch closely for whether the final law treats existing visa holders differently from new applicants. If you want more information on spouse visa applications, check out our video on relationship evidence here, because even if the political rules change later, weak or missing relationship evidence can still delay your application or make your case harder to prove.